I'm making the point that Gavin Newsom is losing this argument. How would I say that? Why would I deduce that? How would I come up with such a thing? Well, listen to the folks on CNN and what they highlighted with this chart. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, if we just take a look at the baseline numbers here, this is Trump's net approval rating on immigration. It's gone up like a rocket.
Did you hear that, Governor Newsom? Did you hear that? I know you're about to leave office soon. I get that. But did you just hear that? America is with Donald Trump. America is with the GOP on this issue.
Here is the truth about Gavin Newsom that much of the mainstream media avoids saying. He is losing. Not just one debate now and then. Not just a single news cycle, but the larger argument about what kind of leadership Americans truly want. The surprising part is that Republicans are not the only ones saying this. CNN is saying it. Stephen A. Smith is saying it. Bill Maher is saying it. The criticism is coming from his own side, and they are showing evidence. When allies begin questioning you on live television with charts and data, it signals a serious problem. Today, we are examining why California's former rising star may be watching his political future weaken in real time. Stay with us for the full breakdown. If you appreciate direct political analysis, consider liking and subscribing because this discussion is only beginning. Let us set the scene. Gavin Newsom says he is not running for president, but many observers believe otherwise. Political insiders see it clearly. His term as governor ends in 2026, and many believe he is aiming higher. The difficulty is clear. It is hard to campaign for the highest office while your own state faces serious challenges. It is like applying to lead a company while your current office is struggling. Voters notice. And they are noticing. Stephen A. Templesta. Smith recently outlined concerns about Newsom that have drawn attention across the political spectrum. His first major point is that progressive policies may have gone too far. Supporting change is not wrong. Holding values is not wrong. But when ideology replaces practical solutions for everyday families, problems grow. Critics argue that Newsom often supports policies popular online, but less hopeful to families struggling with daily expenses. Videos of his past positions remain available. In a presidential race, every past statement will be reviewed closely. Opponents are certain to revisit those moments.
Gavin Newsom's talking about potentially running for the president. Actually, he's not talking about it. He's trying to avoid talking about it, but we all know what he's doing because he has to leave the gubernatorial seat in 2026. The governor's seat in 2026. We know what he wants. You gonna pull it off with the record that took place in California all of these years under your stewardship? It's nice to see him sticking his chest out and going off. You think they don't have clips of how you embraced extreme leftist policies during the whole woke movement and cancel culture and everything else? You think they don't have those clips? You think they didn't see people getting arrested and let out of jail the same day?
The concerns do not stop there. The homelessness crisis has become one of the most visible issues in California. A walk through parts of Los Angeles or San Francisco shows the challenge clearly. Many people are living without stable housing, and solutions have been slow. Critics say state programs are delayed by bureaucracy and have not delivered lasting results. This situation exists in one of the wealthiest states in the nation. That reality raises difficult questions about leadership. The cost of living is another major issue. California ranks among the most expensive states in America. Housing prices are extremely high, taxes continue to increase, regulations often add to business and consumer costs. Many middle-class families say they can no longer afford to remain in the state. Some businesses are relocating to states such as Texas and Florida. When companies and residents leave in large numbers, analysts say it reflects dissatisfaction with economic conditions and governance.
You think they don't have footage of crime ravaging the streets of Los Angeles or homelessness? You think they don't know about the cost of living and how it's the highest in this republic right now? Let's talk.
Stephen A. Smith also points to a deeper concern beyond specific policies. He argues that California's leadership has struggled to engage meaningfully with political opponents. California is largely Democratic, but it is home to millions of Republicans and independent voters. When those voters feel dismissed or unheard, political tensions grow. Ignoring opposing views may energize supporters in the short term, but it can create long-term division. Political experts warn that when leaders avoid dialogue, frustration builds among large segments of the population.
I don't pretend to know. I'm just an American citizen and a conscientious observer that's able to read and deduce what the hell is happening to some degree. I don't have all the answers, but damn it, the people who do, what good are you if all you're going to do is spew vitriol and alienate one side with 77 million voters that are going to look at him and embrace the victim or the victimhood that he's embracing. How do you serve to convince them to swing your way? Because somebody needs to. How are you going to convince people to go to the polls?
This breakdown in communication affects governance. Leaders who only hear agreement risk creating policies that lack balance. They may overlook practical solutions offered by others. They may assume success while problems continue beneath the surface. Stephen A. Turai continue beneath the surface. Smith argues that without bipartisan cooperation, both California and the Democratic Party could face future instability. Immigration may present the most significant political challenge. Recent polling has shifted national conversations. Analysts note that public opinion on border security has changed compared with previous years. These numbers have drawn attention from strategists in both parties.
On this particular issue, as it involves migrants, immigrants, those who are undocumented, dare we say illegal, in the United States of America, he's winning on this issue. There's a reason he won the popular vote. There's a reason he won the electoral college vote. There's a reason he won every swing state. There are people within the United States of America that want our immigration crisis addressed and want the situation resolved somehow, some way. And a person that seems eager to bring a resolution to the table is President Donald Trump.
CNN recently highlighted data showing former President Donald Trump's approval rating on immigration has improved since his first term. Early in his presidency, he faced strong public opposition on that issue. Now polling shows a significant shift. Political observers describe this as one of the largest changes in public opinion in recent years. For Governor Newsom, this trend presents a challenge. He has taken positions that contrast sharply with Trump's approach. He has opposed certain federal immigration actions and supported sanctuary policies. Supporters say these actions protect communities. Critics argue they strain public resources. Stephen A. Smith says many voters now see these disputes as political conflict rather than practical leadership. Schools face enrollment pressures. Social services manage growing demand. Housing shortages continue. Critics argue that ongoing battles with Washington have not produced clear solutions. As public opinion shifts, analysts say these issues may shape future political campaigns in significant ways.
Because based off of what Donald Trump said, I'm making the point that Gavin Newsom is losing this argument. How would I say that? Why would I deduce that? How would I come up with such a thing? Well, listen to the folks on CNN and what they highlighted with this chart. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, if we just take a look at the baseline numbers here, this is Trump's net approval rating on immigration. It's gone up like a rocket. Compare now versus 8 years ago during Trump's first term. Look at this. In his first term, Trump was way underwater at minus 21 points. But look at this. He's up over 20 points. Now in the aggregate, he is in positive territory at plus 1 point on his net approval rating. Some other polls even have it a little bit higher than that. There is no issue on which Trump is doing so much better than he was in his first term, more than the issue of immigration.
There is more to discuss. Remember the high-speed rail project Gavin Newsom strongly supported? It was meant to display California's innovation and long-term vision. Instead, it has turned into a major problem. Former President Donald Trump recently criticized it, saying the project is far over budget and moving very slowly. Independent reviews show the costs have increased dramatically and deadlines have been pushed back again and again. What was expected to be completed within about 10 years has stretched far beyond original plans, with expenses rising well past early projections. The rail line has become a symbol, but not the one supporters hoped for. For critics, it represents poor planning, overspending, and a serious disconnect from financial reality.
Because they may say, we had a bipartisan agreement when Joe Biden was in office that Donald Trump convinced the GOP to nix because he wanted to use it as an issue to favor him during the election. Well, damn it, it worked. It worked. And I got news for you, Governor Newsom. It's working now. But before I go any further to elaborate on this issue, let's hear from Donald Trump himself. Let's see how he feels about the state of California and what's been going on under Governor Newsom's regime. Check out the president.
I like Gavin Newsom. He's a nice guy, but he's grossly incompetent. Everybody knows. All you have to do is look at the little railroad he's building. It's about 100 times over budget. We're putting a flagpole over there.
Another well-known voice has also entered the discussion. Bill Maher, the comedian and political commentator known for criticizing leaders from both parties, has offered his own explanation for California's struggles. His argument focuses on bureaucracy. He describes it as overwhelming and deeply frustrating. Maher argues that California does not lack money or creative ideas. Instead, he says the state is slowed by layers of regulators, administrators, inspectors, contract reviewers, project managers, fee officials, commissioners, zoning officers, and consultants. According to him, this complex system often delays action rather than encouraging progress, while continuing to add costs at every step.
But there is a deep state, which is the bureaucratic class that justifies its existence by making up new rules, and that's my job. It's the vast network of regulators, administrators, inspectors, contract reviewers, project managers, fee assessors, special commissioners, zoning officers, and consultants whose jobs seem to be to make sure nothing ever happens and then charge you for it.
Consider the scale of the issue. Many projects in California require approvals from multiple agencies, creating years of delay and significant added expense. By the time construction begins, if it begins at all, public funds may already have been spent on paperwork and reviews. Maher does not argue that all regulation is unnecessary. Oversight serves an important purpose. However, he suggests that when regulation becomes excessive and prevents development rather than guiding it, the system stops functioning effectively. Some analysts estimate that reducing permitting delays in renewable energy projects could dramatically accelerate the nation's transition to cleaner power. The broader argument is that progress is not always blocked by lack of ability, but by layers of procedure. Critics say California has become an example of this challenge. Maher adds that political movements sometimes push good ideas too far, weakening their own goals in the process.
Semaphore estimates that if the red tape could be cut on everything that's currently stuck in the renewable queue, the United States would be 80% zero carbon in 7 years. The enemy to clean air isn't just big oil, it's big permitting. It's not that America isn't able to get anything done, it's that we're not allowed to. Of course, there should be consideration of the environment on everything we build, but as so often happens on the left, they seem to have no ability to recognize when they've taken a concept way too far and are in fact hurting their own cause.
Environmental protection remains widely supported. However, critics note that environmental review documents have grown extremely long and complex, sometimes taking years to complete. When paperwork expands to thousands of pages and approval timelines stretch beyond 4 years on average, many question whether the system has become unbalanced. The irony, some argue, is that excessive documentation can undermine environmental goals by delaying clean projects. At this point, commentators such as Stephen A. Smith and Bill Maher, coming from different media backgrounds, are expressing similar concerns. They suggest California's difficulties are not isolated problems, but signs of deeper structural and leadership challenges. These include policies seen by critics as symbolic rather than practical, a high cost of living driving families and businesses away, an ongoing homelessness crisis, immigration disputes that create political conflict, and a bureaucratic system that many believe slows meaningful progress.
As Barack Obama once said, one of the biggest lessons he learned as president was there is no such thing as shovel-ready projects. Environmental impact statements used to be a few pages long. Now they're thousands of pages of legalistic nonsense and take an average of 4.5 years to complete, with thousands of bureaucrats filling out millions of paper forms that kill hundreds of forests to answer the question, is this good for the environment?
Governor Gavin Newsom now finds himself at the center of these debates while also being discussed as a possible future presidential candidate. Critics argue that he has struggled to compromise across party lines and to reduce administrative obstacles. Public frustration has grown as projects face delays, taxes remain high, and companies relocate to other states. Many residents feel the burden of these challenges directly. California is also receiving national attention. Visible problems from homelessness to business departures are frequently cited in political arguments about governance. Whether fair or not, perception plays a powerful role in elections. Commentators such as Maher and Stephen A. Smith say voters increasingly demand measurable results rather than political messaging. They want practical solutions and accountability, without significant adjustments focused on efficiency and cooperation. Analysts warn the state could continue facing economic and political pressure instead of serving as a model of progress. The debate now centers on whether Newsom can overcome these challenges and reshape public opinion, or whether current conditions will define his political future.